So a couple of days ago, I put out a question asking you to send me your questions, and I'm going to answer them now in this video. Now, I will apologise in advance because I am bound to butcher your names in this video. So, yeah, I do apologise for that. But I'll put it on the screen anyway, the questions, along with a link in the description to everybody's Instagram or YouTube channel that asked me a question. So we're going to go with the first one now, which is from Ephraim S. Macro Miracles. What are some other photographers you took inspiration from once? So I'm going to expand this a little bit, and I'm going to include photographers I took inspiration from when I started and photographers I'm watching now as an actual macro photographer. So the very first photographer when I first picked up a camera that I started noticing his work was Glyn Dewis. He's a very, very good educator. So first of all, it was Glyn Dewis. Now, he's not a macro photographer, he's a portrait photographer, but a lot of his retouching techniques follow over to the macro side of stuff. And a lot of my retouching I have learned from Glyn Dewis. When I started macro though, I noticed the work of Jonathan Wilner. He was taking some jumping spider images in his garden, and I was fascinated by it. So Jonathan Wilner is one of the ones I noticed first. When I wanted to learn photographing jumping spiders, I saw the work of Thomas Shahan, and I think every macro photographer out there knows Thomas Shahan. Those are just some of the photographers that I took inspiration on when becoming a macro photographer, or I should say when learning macro photography. Once I started learning and I learned the macro photography, there are a couple of accounts that I do follow for inspiration. The first one I want to highlight is Goant Redford. He's an OM Systems ambassador, does some phenomenal work with the OM System cameras. Another photographer I take inspiration from is Lee Frost. He's an award-winning macro photographer, absolutely fantastic images. Another good friend of mine who's another award-winning photographer is PB Macro. You find him on Instagram, absolutely fantastic work. Very good at getting high-level stacks of insects. Another inspirational photographer is Jamie Hall Definitive Imaging. Absolutely fantastic work from him. And another one that I've been following and I'm going to take inspiration from is Ross Hodgenot. I hope I got his name right, but he is an absolutely phenomenal macro photographer when it comes to natural light photography. And natural light photography is something I'm going to give a go with next year. And someone else I like to follow who's not a macro photographer per se is Jesse Fireheisen. He's a toy photographer and his work is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm hoping to give toy photography a go in the winter this year. Okay, from YouTube we have Frisonis, I think that's how you pronounce it. It says, "Hey Stewart, what do you do with all your picture files? I know you delete the edited Lightroom versions of your RAW files, but do you keep all your RAW files as well?" He shoots ISF plus RAW on his OM1, gives him a lot of files, especially with focus bracketing. He keeps the RAW files and the SF files currently, but takes a lot of space. And what do I use to view the RAW files? I mean, on a Windows PC, the RAW files load slow. It's because you're using Windows. So basically what he's saying is, what do I do with all of the image files and how do I view them? Well, the main software I use for viewing them is Lightroom. Now, I am on a Mac. It loads quickly. I've not got any problems with it. And to be honest with you, I've never had any problems with it on the Windows version as well. So if your files are loading slowly, then I would say that's a hardware issue, not a software issue, and it's not Windows or Mac an issue. Try putting your files onto a fast SSD. So you want the files on the fastest drive that you've got possible. Now for me, when I come back from a macro outing, I will put all of my image, I will import them all into Lightroom, and then I will start flagging them and star rating them. Now, any images that are basically crap, any stacks that don't stack because the insects moved, they will all get instantly deleted. Any ones that are like, oh, it could possibly work out, I will flag them as a 1 star, and it's a possible teachable moment. So if I've got a pretty image that's bland and not very good, but I can make it good in the editing, then I might put that aside as a teachable moment for a YouTube video. All the others get starred as good images, but not processed. That'll be a 3 star. And then the images that are good and I want to process, they get flagged as a 5 star. Now at home, I have a Synology 920 Plus NAS drive, which has 4 8TB hard drives in there. So I've got plenty of space for storage. I've got multiple backups everywhere, but periodically I will go through and delete all RAW files that have not been used. And typically any file that hasn't been used in the last 3 years, I'll get rid of it. I'll just delete it because I can't see the point in keeping all of the RAW files. I cannot see a point. I'm never going to go back and edit them because 3 years have passed. I'm a better photographer than I was 3 years ago. So any images from there I'm going to retake. So there's no point keeping it, so I'll just delete them. And again, those get backed up onto the NAS. They get backed up onto 2 separate folders. I have the time machine that's doing a backup. I also do a manual backup into a different folder, and these are kept on separate hard drives. I also have an off-site backup, which I do every 6 months, and that's if the house burns down, then I've still got a backup that's off-site. I hope that answered the question. But in short, big ass hard drives. Jumpy Spider Life says she's got no question, but this pic is insane. Thank you very much. That is the picture of Bungie that we took on the OM1 Mark II. G601 TV says, can you try Smartphone Plus Lens Bong 25mm DIY macro lens? I'll look into it, but no promises. Eco Macros, how does a macro photographer grow a following? Personally, I wish I'd know. The best advice I can give you is just put your work out there. Don't give up. Keep putting out content. Now, I don't follow my advice because I'm not consistent. I'm never putting out content unless I like it. Reels, mostly, they're being pushed at the moment. But I think it's just a case of just triggering the algorithm at the right moment, which I've never been able to do. But I'll be honest with you, I don't chase likes, I don't chase shares, and I really don't give a crap about people following me or subscribing. So don't subscribe to the channel if you don't want to. I'm not a numbers chaser. I just do this because I like doing it. I'll tell you what though, ever since I stopped caring about likes, subscribes and follows, I've been a lot happier photographer because the pressure's not there for having to put something out that people like. I don't even look at the numbers no more. It's a lot happier life, I tell you. Stop chasing numbers, don't care. Testing 2024-1. Hi Stewart. How to use focus bracketing when using the 60mm and the DCR 250. Have a look at my library of videos. I've got loads of videos on focus stacking with the Olympus system, with and without the DCR 250. I also use the Nissi and the Nuia lenses as well. I've got loads and loads of videos on focus stacking, so check them out, okay? War Nature Photog. Field or studio macro and why? Field, every inch of the way. Absolutely, without a doubt, field work. I absolutely love field work. We're out here at Romare Pools filming this video right now because I just like being outdoors. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. The only reason I do indoor studio work is because of YouTube. That is it. If it wasn't for YouTube and I wasn't teaching macro photography, you wouldn't see me in the studio at all. It'd just be all outdoor work. But because I'm teaching it, I'm testing cameras, I'm testing out lenses, I'm testing out different setups. That's where you see the indoor work. And again, coming back to the likes and the subscribers and all that, with YouTube, you can't take 6 months off in the winter. It'll just kill your channel, so I have to do studio work for that. But if it was just me, just the camera, field work, every inch of the way. GF Grammar. Hi Stuart, what brings you the most joy in macro photography nowadays, and do you feel you have to censor yourself from saying certain ideas or personal opinions on the channel? So that's basically 2 questions. So what gives me the most joy in macro is just the fact of getting outside and getting the images I've never gotten. So crab spiders, I've been trying to get those. Forget it, I can't get them. Dragonflies in flight, I've got 1 image of those. I want to get more, can't get them. But when you do nail the shot, like this one of the damselfly, this is one of the first shots I took where it was stacked. It gives you a great joy. Yeah, it's just getting out of the house and getting into the wild nature, which is something I want to do more of, is more wildlife and nature, but we'll see what happens in the future on that. But yeah, just enjoy it, you know. Now, as for the censorship, there are certain people watching this video now who know me personally. They know the Stewart on camera is not the same Stewart you will meet in person. I am an F-bomb, I swear a lot, I'm very common. All that gets cut out because I don't want YouTube to think I'm a potty mouth, which in reality I am. When it comes to certain opinions, I have certain opinions, but I tell them on camera, you know. If you need to cut a blade of grass, I'll cut a blade of grass. I mean, come on. I've done more damage parking my car on a bloody car boot than I have doing photography, you know. But there are certain people out there that are just wokey-dokey tree-hugging hippies that think that they have the righteous way of saying, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. No, I'll do it the way I want to do it, okay? The only thing I really censor is my language. You know, if it's a funny one, I'll put a censor beep in there so that YouTube doesn't flag it. But yeah, there's a lot of F-bombs that go on when we do these videos. You'll hear me going, for fuck's sakes, keep still, or stop turning round. the insect's ass is always facing you when you're trying to take a photo, that gets censored. Like I said, opinions, I don't really censor those because I don't get political on the channel. I don't cover current affairs, so none of that gets recorded or any of that. But when it comes to me and my work, I tell it like it is. I'll tell you how I do it, and you take that off and take it with it, whatever you want to do. You know, if you don't want to do that, don't do it. If you want to do it a different way, go and do it a different way. But there you go. Those are the questions that we had. I'm hoping I might do this once a month. What do you reckon? Once a month we do a Ask Me Anything? And you can literally ask me anything. It doesn't have to be about macro. It can be about anything, okay? So keep an eye on my social media. It's down here. But keep an eye on my social media for when I put out the questionnaire next to Ask Me Anything, and I'll do another video like this. And again, you can ask me anything. But that's where I'm going to leave this video. I want to thank you for sending your questions, and I thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one. It's all right. Dipshit here. We ain't wrote them down in order. So I'll have to read this one out because I can't remember. I'm not going to be able to memorise this one. To be fair, if your work's good enough, you'll get picked up. Unlike me, because I'm honest and they don't like me. That's fine, I've got one more left. But we're going to wait for this Dickless Moore one in an airplane to come over, because obviously it's probably got a big titted blonde in there. Could be why it's leaning to the fucking left. It's actually very key what I just said for this video, because the next question is about censorship. So I'm going to stick this in the outro. Go on, you Dickless Moore and fuck off. Other people want to use the outdoors, you know. Asks, hi Stewart, what brings you the most... Let's try that again. There are certain people who are watching this video now. Boom. Done. Stop. Yep. All right, we go home and find out something's fucked on it and do it in the studio. Yeah. Thank you for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe and click the like button. It really does help out the channel. I want to thank my Patreon supporters for their continued support in supporting me and this channel. If you're interested in joining Patreon, then check in the description below this video for a link to Patreon. If you want to continue watching my macro journey, then click one of the videos in front of you now.